On this page we're having a look at how to round numbers so that we can make an estimate of a mathematical expression such as 57 plus 12 minus 23. Now the rules for rounding are as below. If you want to round to the nearest 10, you take the numbers from 1 to 4 in the units position, and that will round down to 30 if you want to round to the nearest 10. So 31, 32, 33, 34 will round down to 30. The numbers where the final digit is 5 or higher, so 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, will round up to the nearest 10, which is 40. So for instance, let's do a little practice. If you have the number 72, that will round down to 70. If you have the number 57, that will round up to 60. The reason why we do rounding, or we perform rounding on numbers, is so that we can take a mathematical expression such as this one, and we can round off the numbers so that we can make an estimate of the answer. Now it's really important that we round off so that the estimate can be performed mentally. We actually don't have to do any working on paper. So let's see how easy this is. 57, well, we've just done that one. That rounds off to 60. We're looking the nearest 10. 12 rounds off to 10, and 23 rounds off to 20. So when we've got that far, then we can now perform this operation. Now the way we perform these operations is actually work from left to right. So we say 60 plus 10 is 70, subtract 20 is 50. So I could do that one in my head. And that's the purpose of estimating. You need to be able to perform the operations in the initial problem, as we had here, in your head. Okay? You can't actually perform that operation using the numbers given, so you round off so that you have made numbers that are then easy to do an estimate on in your head. Let's have a look at the next one. We're now rounding to the nearest 100. So 579, rounding to the nearest 100. Well, 579 is closer to 600 than it is to 500. Rounding off 5 to the nearest 100, well, it's nowhere near 100, so it becomes 0. Rounding off 2,356 to the nearest 100 becomes 2,400, because we've got 56 there, so it's closer to 2,400 than 2,300. And 75, again, that one will round up to 100. So now you can see with all those zeros, it's actually very easy to perform the operation in your head. So you get an estimate of the answer. It's not the exact answer, but it might be okay. So we don't need to worry about the zero, so now we read 600 plus 2,400. I can do that in my head. It's 3,000. Subtract 100, answer 2,900. If you actually perform the exact operation on your calculator, you'll find that it is very close to the estimate, or reasonably close to the estimate. All right, we need to move on and look at other slightly more difficult operations with powers, with indices, and that's called powers. Rewriting numbers in what we call power notation. Now, powers are sometimes called indices and exponents. And the power number goes in this position. It's in the superscript position, called the index, the power, or the exponent. And the number we perform the power operation on is known as the base. So 2 to the power 4 means we write down 2 4 times and multiply. 3 to the power 2 means we write down 3 twice and multiply. 2 to the power 3 means we write, there it is, 2 to the power 3, 2 3 times and multiply. Okay, so the 4 2's are multiplied. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 again is 16. 3 times 3 is 9, and 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Now, what if we wanted to work backwards? For instance, if we took the number 9 and we wanted to find two numbers that multiplied together will give us 9. Well, if we look back up here, we can see those two numbers were 3 times 3. So what I'm asking is, what number multiplied by itself will give you 9? And that number we say is the square root of 9, which is the number 3. So let's say that again. What number multiplied by itself will give you 9? That's what the square root sign means, and that number is 3. So we're going to move on to the next page where we look at the square roots of various numbers.